job to do. And yeah, it was a hard game today, but we found a way to win. So it's a good weekend, and now we can just relax a bit and see what the others do.
As you were saying, getting the job done as a team, that's the most important thing for what you want to achieve this season.
Yeah, definitely. We know that it's been a tough year, but we're finding a little bit of a groove. We're winning the games that we need to win for the moment. So let's hope we can end the season like that.
Can you talk us through your goal? A bit of Belgian brilliance there with you and Doku as well, him providing that assist.
Yeah, I think we pressed good, and then kind of like half a counter, and then Jeremy with a great action, and he found me in the right spot, and yeah, I could finish it.
I know you don't kind of want to look to the future and look to the end, but are you just drinking it all in now, for you personally, for what you've done?
Well, I don't know. I just try to play as good football as I can, and obviously I know I've got one game left here, but I don't know. I just try to do my job like I've always done, and I did that today. So I'm proud of what I'm doing, and that's how it's supposed to be.
You can feel the love, though. You can feel the love from the stands. You can feel the love from your teammates in this Manchester City shirt that you're wearing.
Yeah, but I think a lot of teammates have spoken to me, and I think they're sad also that I have to go. But sometimes it goes like this in life. But I think the way that I'm, performing and acting like a teammate is, I think, how everybody should supposed to be. I give everything, and I want to win the game. So that's it for me.
I know you said you don't want to go, and circumstances are that you are, but you still say you believe you can do a job in the Premier League. Do you know what the future is going to be?
I don't know, unfortunately. No, I don't know yet. I think I show that I can still play here. Otherwise, I don't do what I do these last 4 or 5 weeks. That is it for my point.
And in these last 4 or 5 weeks, yes, Champions League qualification is the aim, but there's also an FA Cup, isn't there, to win?
Yeah, but we got a couple of weeks, so we know we got Southampton, and if we can win that game, that's a good point, to go forward for the Champions League, and then we got Crystal Palace. That would be nice, obviously, to end that way, but now for the moment, enjoy the weekend and then work towards Southampton.
I know you've got to go, but you'd like to win the FA Cup, wouldn't you? You'd like to finish in this blue shirt on an absolute high.
I like to win everything, so yes.
Well done. Congratulations. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Kevin, well done.
Well, he was just about smiling at the end of that interview, having scored the winning goal in this game, as he has in so many games over his time for Manchester City. But he was clear yet again that this is not his decision to leave the club, that if it was up to him, he'd be staying, and that his future potentially could lie elsewhere. What could be the reasons that a player would talk so honestly and so openly about this difference of where his future lies?
I don't know, maybe he's just, and I don't want to put words into his mouth, he's still good enough to play here. In terms of, and I mentioned beforehand, the press and all that sort of stuff, the way Man City want to get the ball back. Maybe he's not got that side, but quality-wise, he believes he can still play at the top level, and I actually believe him. I was speaking to a lot of City fans, and they said, it's nice that he goes this season, so he's going on at a high, and I think a couple of weeks he said that he feels injury-free for the first time, where he feels a bit more mobile, a bit more flexible. And
So he would point to those earlier season performances and say, I wasn't 100% fit at that time, and that's perhaps why people were starting to say, well, he's not quite the Kevin De Bruyne of old, because that was a conversation.
Yeah, but age catches up on you. What is he now? 33 years of age, and unfortunately your body can't do certain things that you want it to do. But in terms of the way Man City, you look at the possession stats, 60-odd%, he keeps the ball really well. He scores a vital goal. His football intelligence is still there, and he's just saying to maybe the club, the manager, the fact, whatever, he's still good enough to play at this level. I don't know what you think, Jamie.
I can understand where the club are coming from. I think it's slightly different to what happened at Liverpool with Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk, because they play every week. Now, it's not just this season that Kevin De Bruyne started picking up injuries. It's been going on for a couple of weeks, a couple of seasons it has. So, you know, when you're talking about the figures that he'll be getting paid, and rightly so, he's been the best player for me in the Premier League for the last 4 or 5 years. But you can't have a squad player who's on. Okay. I thought that was Kevin De Bruyne.
Jeremy, thanks so much for coming out to talk to us.
Berlin, thank God that was you.
Jeremy Doku with successive assists in Premier League games, in the last game and in this one today. For Kevin De Bruyne, who we were talking about, hence Jamie thinking that might be who was appearing over his shoulder. But there is that Belgian connection. I imagine you'll be sorry to see him go.
Yeah, of course. Luckily, I still play with him in the national team. But obviously, I don't have to explain how exceptional player it is. And even today, he showed it again. I saw he was free, and obviously, I like to give assists to Kevin. So yeah, I'm happy for him.
What about for your performance in this game? Pep Guardiola has said at different times this season he feels sometimes he's been a bit unfair, that your performances have merited a bit more. Do you feel that you've delivered on that?
Today?
Yeah, well, let's say today specifically, and then we can talk more widely.
Look, I saw that you said that, but I think as a player, it's my task to be every game there and to not give him a chance to put me on the bench or to not let me play. So when he says so things like this, I just look at myself and look at what I can do better, so that he cannot put me out of the team. So yeah.
So it's constantly about trying to work on your own game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I just wanted to ask you. I think when I spoke about you in your game, I think you're so electric, you're so fast, you got the pace, everything, the direction. Mm-hmm. But then sometimes previously, and not today or the last couple of games, you come back like sort of what Grealish, the same thing. Is that something that you're told to do by the manager, or is he just looking for other opportunities on the field?
No, if it's dependent on me, obviously I would go every time.
Okay.
But I think sometimes in a game like this, when it's up and down, I want the team to come back and rest a bit. But obviously, I'm an attacking player that likes to go at it. So if it depended on me, obviously I would go every time. But sometimes I just want the team to rest and just keep the ball a bit.
Is that hard to adapt to though, when you want to go every single time?
Sometimes I see the opportunity, but obviously today at the end I was tired as well, so it was convenient for me. So, but yeah, sometimes I want to go, but it's a team sport, so I will think about the team.
Jeremy, I just want to look at your assist, and what I thought was brilliant about it was when you went past the last defender and you're almost losing your footing a little bit, you still had the ability to have a little look up and see where Kevin was, because Kevin does brilliantly in that he actually holds his position. He knows there's going to be space on the edge of the box there, and as you watch, it's hard to see that, but you have a little look and you see him, don't you, at the corner of your eye. You see it here now.
Yeah, exactly. I saw him. He did well because the defenders were closing the first post of Gundogan. And I saw him there, and I think that's something that I worked on when I said earlier that I have to do better sometimes. I'm a lot in those types of situations, and I'm a critical player. I'm critical for myself, and I have to do more in those types of situations. And I know today was I get an assist, but I think I can do even more. So yeah, but I'm happy today for the assist.
It was a significant victory because it takes you third in the table, 3 points behind Arsenal. Is this about qualifying for the Champions League, finishing as far up the table as you can, and of course with an FA Cup final to come?
Yes, obviously we can't win the Premier League anymore, but we just want to try to win every game now and see where we end up. And like you said, we have a final of FA Cup, so game by game, but we're going to prepare well for that as well.
Yeah. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. Good for you to come out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.
All the best.
All the best.
Thank you. Can I do one of them as well?
Yeah.
You felt left out, Jamie.
Look, it's been, as we said before, it's been a season that's had dips for Manchester City, and it's not been at what we've come to expect as their usual high standards. But there have still been moments, and they have got themselves in a position where potentially even second is a possibility for them.
Yeah, I think the good thing about Man City, and Jamie will tell you himself, that they've not imploded. You know, there was times at the season where it was like really down in the dumps and thinking, can they find a way back? Yes, they've got a top quality manager. Yeah, they've got top quality players. But when that lack of confidence flows around the dressing room, sometimes it is hard to get that back. But ultimately, quality has shone through. Yes, they've had injuries at the wrong times. But recently, the last 4 or 5 games, okay, they've not been scintillating as City as old, But in terms of big moments, getting over the line, you know, they've seen the great Real Madrid teams when they're playing in the Champions League. You're thinking, how are they getting to final after the final? But they just, in their moments, make the right decision. And I think that's what Man City are doing now. Regroup, go next season and see what they can do.
And that's what happened with the goal. I mean, you talked to Jeremy there about his kind of awareness, even though he'd lost his balance a little bit. But Kevin De Bruyne's awareness, as you said, to just hold his position and make sure he was in the right place to score.
Yeah, and that's what it's about understanding the game. Look at his brain. He just puts the brakes on. He sees all the bodies run into the box, and then he finds himself in that acres of space on the edge of the box. And he's just hoping his mate can find him. He just brilliantly initially as well with the little 1-2 takes another Wolves player out of the play. But I just love this little bit where he just puts the brakes on now.
Excellent.
Brilliant, and that's when you talk about game intelligence. And Kevin De Bruyne is playing for, in the last 4 or 5 years, arguably the best team in the world in terms of Manchester City and, you know, Pep Guardiola. But he's still levels above the elite players in the world, and that was just a little example of that there, where he just puts the brakes on. He sees everybody getting attracted to the ball, and that's what wins the game.
So going back to what you said, does he stay or does he go? He's done his interview, he's gone home.
Listen, I think he's one of the highest paid players in probably Wales football, and rightly so. He's been injured a lot in the last 2 years, so it's hard to justify, I think, if you're Manchester City from a business point of view, to give him a new contract. Now, if he was prepared to be on 50% of what his wages were, or maybe a little bit less, because when you've got a club like this, and listen, we know with PSR and all different things that go on, you couldn't afford to have someone on those type of wages not playing every week. That should be for one of your star players. Now, he's still a star player, but he's not going to play every week. He's probably going to play 20, 25 games a season. And something Gary mentioned, Gary Neville, and rightly so, when you think of the Manchester United lads, all got to that certain age, Gary being one of them, maybe Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs another way, yet they stay on there and they pass on their experience, and they dip in and out of games. And listen, and I'm sure they were getting paid very well, but the numbers we're talking now with Kevin De Bruyne, it's probably, as I said, one of the highest paid players in the world. He doesn't play every week, and Manchester City as a business probably just can't justify that.
What do you think, Micah? Is it a business decision as much as anything?
It's hard because I'm talking pretty much as a fan, and I'm not talking about. I'm a fan of Kevin De Bruyne and what he brings to the league. You know, Jamie's talked about him for the last 10 years. He's been unbelievable in terms of what he's produced and his output in the Premier League. And somewhere in me just says, one more year, he can still do it at this level. But I totally understand Jamie's point about the finances, because it's been difficult. It's been difficult with City in terms of the players, the wages, and, you know, this season not winning a Premier League, you're not getting the same finances in, so maybe it is just a business decision.
I think what's interesting from his comments is that he doesn't think he's finished at the top level in terms of playing. Now, it's not going to be Manchester City, but in my head, I thought Kevin De Bruyne's going to go to the MLS or he's going to go to the Saudi League. It doesn't sound like that's going to happen. He still thinks he can play, you know, maybe next season and the year after at, you know, the top level of European football.
In the Premier League?
Yeah, maybe in the Premier League, but it could be another team who he thinks, you know what, maybe not so much a lesser league, but a lesser paced league. Maybe where he could be looked at maybe less games. They only have one domestic cup competition, and maybe he thinks, you know what, I want to crack at, you know, trying to win the Champions League again, but maybe in a different country. I think that would probably suit him a little bit more. But as I said, I'm glad that the fact that he's saying, no, I'm not ready to be sort of, you know, to, as I said, the MLS or the Saudi League, and we're thinking, okay, last couple of years, go make a few quid. He's made a few quid, he's done all right. But, you know, he still thinks he can do it. And listen, who doesn't want to see Kevin De Bruyne play football at the highest level?
I just think, lastly, if we're wrapping up on Kevin De Bruyne, in terms of, yes, he's played sort of the false nine. He's played from the right, he's played from the left. I think he can play the quarterback role as well. That is one thing I'm thinking. The passes, his range of passes is ridiculous. And Man City dominate the ball, again, like they have tonight. And he rarely gives the ball away unless he's making one of them through balls or decisive pass. So I still believe he can do a job.
I always thought 4 or 5 years ago he'd end up playing like a Xabi Alonso role. Mm-hmm. I did think that, whether it was at City or somewhere else, but he's never been played in there, and Pep Guardiola knows him better than us, sees him every day, but he still always plays between the lines. I always thought that might be the natural role for him, to almost play alongside, you know, a defensive midfield player. He just sits there, he doesn't move, and he just passes, but it won't be at City.
Is in the first half gone your way? We could well be talking about a different scoreline here.
Yes, but in the end, it's football. I'm very proud of my team. I said that we can lose a game, but we cannot lose our identity, our courage, our ambition, our commitment, team spirit. And today I showed everything in my team, everything, just missing the result.
When you talk about identity, what identity is that?
What
is your identity?
Is a team that wants to press higher when we should, when we have the chance to press. Is a team that when playing in a low block defending knows how to do it. Is a team that wants to start playing, wants to have the ball and create chance, attacking the spaces, finding the man free. With intention to accelerate the game when we have this chance to accelerate and create chance. Today we didn't score, but I'm very happy.
You look to the future though, don't you? And you build to the future. Do you already allow yourself to think where you will be or would like to be next season?
Next season, I want to see the same spirit, playing, trying to compete. I don't care about. That's why I said that this is about us. This is not about the other teams. This is about us. We must lose a game as today, but we show that we have quality to compete with them. And in the end, proud of ourselves, proud of our supporters, and maybe I will drink my beer because I think
not again.
Yes, because I think we deserve. I personality, character, good football. Was a good game.
You see, Vito, you give us these lines about the beer and drinking the beer, and these are never going to go away now.
No, because if I'm not in the end of a game, I'm not proud of myself, I don't go. But I'm proud of my work, proud of my players, proud of my supporters. It means that only missing the result.
Okay, when you talk about being proud of your work and proud of yourself and focusing on the team, have you allowed yourself to reflect on the work that you've done since coming in and the position that Wolves were in when you first arrived?
Yes. But I'm not a young manager. I have 56. I start with 29. 600 games is a lot. In a lot of clubs, different clubs that playing for titles. And I think this is the best league, and this is the league where I want to compete, where I want to strategy. I want to organize, to see a team that we have intention, we have idea of game, and we respect our identity. We respect ourselves.
And is it the league with the best beer then? Seeing as you gave me that opportunity to ask you.
What?
Is it the best league with the best beer?
No, the beer is not important. The people are
the people.
The people.
And the people like their beer.
Of course, this is cultural in this country. This is cultural.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck for the rest of the season. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a lot of talk about beer there. I know he said points before pints, but Vitor Pereira's confirmed he'll still have a beer tonight. So I think he means points for anyone. Look, their winning run at an end now at Manchester City, but what a run to be proud of. 6 in a row for Wolves. I know it doesn't include any of the teams in the top 6, but in the Premier League, every game is tough, and that is impressive.
Yeah, it's a very impressive run. Like I say, for teams, even the ones that are up there in the Champions League or winning the titles, to win 6 on the bounce is a big accomplishment, because you can always draw games. Like City could have just drew that game just then, and maybe not because they wasn't necessarily playing well, but because Wolves had a chance and they took theirs, and City kind of missed the rest. So for me, the way they've done it is a massive achievement, and it's something for them to be proud of.
Vitor's done an incredible job since he's taken over there. His job would have been to keep them in the Premier League. They are 20 points from the drop as we speak. 20 points clear. That is unbelievable. So congratulations to him and Wolves.
Speaking of points, enough for Pep Guardiola's side tonight. All three to move up to third in the Premier League. Let's hear his thoughts on this victory. Here's the Manchester City manager.
Pep, congratulations. Seems to be a good groove that the team are back into now.
Sorry?
It seems like the team are back in a very good groove now.
Yeah, if you analyze the result, yeah. Analyze the performance, okay, still long way to come.
Good to have Erling Haaland back on the bench. I know you didn't need him, but obviously a sign that his recovery is on target and could still play a part in the closing.
It's really good to have him here, really good.
Not the first time that Kevin De Bruyne has scored a winning goal for you. Who knows, it might be his last goal at the Etihad, but you know, those moments so often over the years.
We'll have another game here.
No, but that's what I'm saying, who knows, it could be.
Hopefully it's another one. Yeah, I'm really pleased with his contribution, you know, he's going to help us in Crystal Palace 0-2 down. We were in the position like, and with his goal lift our spirits and the spirit for our fans, and at the end we, like today, he's make an incredible action from Jeremy and he scored.
You did have a scare at 0-0 when Bellegarde was maybe too unselfish. I mean, that could have changed the story tonight?
Yeah, the first 20 minutes they were much better than us and they had the chances. We were fortunate. So we had a good day, not good day, a bad day. We were not in what we want to be, but at the same time we know we're playing for resilience, especially second half. We make a step up, we'll be better. But yeah, it's where it is.
And a good 24 hours, obviously, with Nottingham Forest losing, and you've got the victory tonight. How do you feel now about the Champions League qualification?
We are better than weeks ago. That's happened when we have done, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 games in a row winning. So that's why the other points drop. And of course, listen, when we play the way we play today, like the victory is really important, really good. But of course, we cannot relax because it's not the certainty that we are going to Southampton, Bournemouth, and Fulham. So, but yeah, we are. I think is winning in that way is good because it will make us realize that still we have to work.
Perfect. Well done tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pep. Cheers.
Yeah, up to third now are Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, looking at that last 5 results on a 5-match winning streak in all competitions. Critically for the City boss, though, he said, we're better than we were a few weeks ago, but we cannot relax.
Yeah, you can never relax when you're in the Premier League chasing something and you've got a lot of teams on your back because there is no margin for error in so many ways because they relax, they take their foot off the pedal. They can easily be out of that top 5 position because the teams around them have been outstanding this year, right? And will close the gap at some point.
I think they go unbeaten now to the end of the season. I think then in that groove, Kevin talked about the groove, and it must be mentioned in that dressing room. Got a lot of players coming back now. We're going to see Rodri before the end of the season. We're certainly going to see Erling Haaland. And they got a lot of players in reserve day, likes of Foden, Grealish, Silvinho. They got players. They got all their squad back to fitness. They're going to go unbeaten for me. So forget about catching Man City if you're Nottingham Forest or Aston Villa.
Yeah, you and the Opta supercomputer give them a 98% chance now of qualifying for the Champions League. This is the state of play in that run-in the battle for top 5. And it's City now who've moved into third after Forest missed the chance to do that by losing to Brentford. Newcastle are 2 points behind them. Then Forest, as I mentioned, and Chelsea both on 60 points. Aston Villa a further 3 behind. So not out of it at all. City play Southampton, Bournemouth and Fulham. But as Pep said there, not easy, not guaranteed.
Nothing's never guaranteed in football. But if we're talking, like, you expect City to win all of those, especially the home one. They normally do really well. Fulham, I think they win, but could be a bit tricky as well. But Southampton, you expect them to pick up another 3 points there.
They got the easiest fixtures out of everyone, haven't they? You know, are we actually playing this game again? I mean, because I keep changing my mind every time we do this, but when you look at the fixtures there, I just think it's difficult for Chelsea.
Chelsea, 100%.
I think the fixtures are difficult. It might be a pivotal game, the last game of the season against Nottingham Forest. For me, I think Aston Villa can go unbeaten, you know, because Tottenham and Manchester United both got 1 foot in the Europa League final, so that could play into their hands where they could change their team up, play a reserve side against Villa. And Villa have got a good side themselves, so they're going to be right in the frame as well. It's hard to call, Jules, it really is, but for me, forget about Man City. I think Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City have got the top 3. And I would even think City might even chase Arsenal down.
You haven't told us who's going to miss out, though.
Yeah, I'll leave that to Sean. That's why I brought him in. He makes the big calls.
Sean, you're up.
I don't know. I think I've said in the past, I think Forest might be the other team that kind of fall away.
Yeah.
Which I'll be gutted about because they've been in great form until of recent. And this is the time you don't really want to lose that form. But in the few games that I've seen them play, they've looked a little bit tired and leggy, and which isn't like them. And I saw something Nuno said as well. He just said he wasn't happy. He's very concerned. So for him to be saying that, he's seeing things as well.
Isn't it crazy to think that Nottingham Forest season will be disappointing at the end of it because they haven't qualified for Champions League? If you told them at the start of the season you'd be in the running for Europa League, for Europe, they would have taken it. But after the season that they've had, it's changed the narrative a bit.
For me, I'm gutted they haven't done it. But for me, their season has been outstanding, and for them to finish in Europe, period, is a massive achievement because. Although they were there, you could kind of say you thought everyone would say they've overachieved in terms of they don't make that many chances, but their conversion rate to the chances they've made have been unbelievable.
Yeah, so Forest missed the opportunity. No such problems for Kevin De Bruyne and Manchester City. A 1-0 win tonight. Goal number 108. A great way to say farewell to the Etihad crowd. It may be his last one. He's still got one more game there.
I'm sure he'll play in that last game. We'll play some part of it. He needs the ovation. He deserves that ovation. He has been a top player, and we thank him for everything he's given to the Premier League if it is to be his last one.